Buenos días, clase. Vamos a hablar de la formación del imperfecto de subjuntivo. Okay, un poco en inglés. To talk about the formation of the imperfect subjunctive, first let's think back to our formation of our present subjunctive. In our present subjunctive, we would always go to the yo form in the present tense, and then form our endings from there into the present subjunctive. Our imperfect subjunctive is formed just a little bit differently, but based on the same idea. We're going to take the ellos form in the preterite. So taking the verb hablar, if we form the verb hablar in the ellos form in the preterite, we have hablaron, hablaron. Then what we do is drop the ron and instead add the imperfect subjunctive endings. And those perfect subjunctive endings look a little bit like a cheer. Ra, ras, ra, ramos, ran. We're going to add those endings to what's left over after we remove the ron. And on our nosotros form, we have to remember to add our accent. So let's look at it. Once we take the verb hablaron, drop the ron, we're left with habla. So then we add our endings. Hablara, hablaras, hablara, habláramos, hablaran. And that's how we form any typical AR verb. But we can take any verb, form it in the ellos form in the preterite, drop the ron ending, and add our imperfect subjunctive endings, and we can get there. So let's take the verb comer, typical ER verb. We'll take our ellos form in the preterite, comieron. We'll drop our ron ending. We're left with comie. We'll add our imperfect subjunctive endings, ra, ras, ra, ramos, ran. Remembering to add that accent to the nosotros form. And then we're left with comiera, comieras, comiera, comiéramos, comieran. So again, we just added our ending to the stem that was left after we removed the ron. This same idea works for all irregular verbs as well. So if we take one of our irregulars, tener, and we form it in the ellos form in the preterite, tuvieron, we drop our ron ending, we're left with tuvie, and then we add our imperfect subjunctive endings. Ra, ras, ra, ramos, ran. And we have yo tuviera, tú tuvieras, él o ella tuviera, nosotros tuviéramos, ellos o ustedes tuvieron. Let's try another irregular verb besides tener. Here's dormir. Let's take the ellos form in the preterite of dormir, which is durmieron. We drop our ron, we're left with durmie. We add our endings. And we have yo durmiera, tú durmieras, él o ella durmiera, nosotros durmiéramos, ellos o ustedes durmieran. Let's try one more irregular so you can see how the formation goes. Saber, that's a very irregular verb. Let's go to our ellos form in the preterite, which is supieron. Drop our ron endings. Okay, we're left with supie. And we add our imperfect subjunctive endings, as we have been doing. And we end up with yo supiera, tú supieras, él o ella supiera, nosotros supiéramos, and ellos o ustedes supieran. In your packets, in your handouts, those white stapled sheets, it gives you lots of different irregulars, but they're all based on that same idea of going to the ellos form in the preterite, forming that ellos form, dropping the ron, and adding the imperfect subjunctive endings.